G'day traders, welcome to wrap up of Tuesday the 8th of May. So here's the candle on the daily chart here, and what happened is when we opened the candle, we were sitting just above this support area here. So you can see these two basically wicks have formed a little bit of a support area. The thing I thought about this day is, unlike support, which is up here, we had support, then resistance and support. It's an area that's been tested multiple times. It's proving to be a really strong area in the market, and to be very careful of it. This one down here, yes, it is support, but it's one that I could see the market's pushing through, fairly easily, because of the fact it's, the market had a lot of momentum. It's not like it's an area that's been tested many times, and it's an area that's still with the sellers a bit, so that it's not a real buyer's fortress kind of thing that's going to hold the sellers back in my mind. So I definitely start the day with a seller's opinion. Definitely have this 1350 area, 52 area in mind, but I thought it's definitely possible to push lower. And from that, you look at this 5-minute chart here. That's exactly what we did. You can see we got this congestion area of bouncing between about 4 or 5 power points before we actually got going with the trend. Around this area here, here it is on the 1-minute chart, here it is on the 5-minute chart. Was looking for some sort of sell setup, because with the daily views that we were going to push down. Was looking for some sort of breakout here, and for me it needed to the predictive cross up and then cross down, so get that sort of reloading of the sellers and then pressure on the downside and momentum, and away you go. Just trying to take a sell anywhere here for me was just a bit too extended, a bit too risky, so I needed to pop up, pop down. As far as the 1-minute chart, maybe this fade was a go, but again, it's risky, and you can see it probably would have been actually stopped out depending on how early you took it. You can see if it had entered the back here, would have been stopped out. But if you see it come down, pop back, then go again, that's a lot safer option. Obviously, you might miss it, but seeing the best way to approach power phase like that, I think, is to see them go and then pop back, then go again, and use it that second time that they're ready to go. But anyway, this area had a lot of potential as far as the sell-off. From there, if there was no trade taken around there, it's very hard to get on, as we've had just a solid push down and no sort of retracement. You can see on the 1-minute chart as well, that's the case. Okay, and then once we got down here, we got this retracement here. So looking at this, see that the first power point got stopped out. Also the second power point, which can be quite reliable, got stopped out as well. So I guess because it was a very decent trend from about 59 down to 44, so it's a 15-point downtrend. It was looking to have a little bit more of a retracement than what it normally would. And so you can see the market had quite a decent bounce through this area here. From there, and what was happening too, if you look at when you're just trying to make a judgment on whether these areas are going to hold, if you look at some of the other markets, especially the Russell, when we were in this area here, around this purple, the Russell was sitting up and it had already broken this kind of resistance area that's up around here. The Russell was pushing really high, and at this stage here, while it's coming up, the Russell just about retraced all of its downtrend, and it was really keen on the upside. So taking any sort of continuation trades here and getting back on the downtrend looked very risky to me. Also, then when this 5-minute sell came up here, same sort of thing. All the other markets were still pushing up. By this stage, the Russell was starting to get back on the downside, but it really was pushing up and pushing up quite strongly. So I thought this area was a little bit risky, and certainly wouldn't look to enter at the end of this candle. It's quite extended, and you're likely to get a bit of a bounce, which it got, and then the push down if it does want to come. But the other markets just didn't show enough that the sellers were strong enough to push lower here, even though it is a seller's market. I just thought they'd kind of done their dash in that original trend. From there, we started to push up. So all through here, it looked like the buyers were starting to gain some strength. But coming up through here, and let me show you on the 1-minute chart as well, it's kind of this area here. It's a bit of a decision area for the market. We're always going to get a natural little bounce off here because of this resistance from this previous little swing high area here. And from there we came back, and then we went a third time. So this buying area here, or break area here, I think it's an area you should always have a look at and be very keen on, because even though it's strong resistance, the fact the market's come back a second time, wouldn't be so much interested here because there's no real momentum, no power. You can see the predictive cross way down here, so by the time it's up here, it's extended. The other markets weren't really doing much either, but when it came back and had a third time, that's a lot of persistency from the buyers, and this time they came back with a more compact look, more power, more momentum. You can see the predictive average is crossing up, and it's certainly an area where the market's had a very high chance of pushing up from. Probably didn't expect it to push all the way back to the cash market highs, but certainly expected it to break up to around 1354, 55, where if you look on the dailies and you look on this chart here, there's a resistance here. So certainly did see an uptrend coming, a breakout, but it might have surprised everyone by just how high it pushed up considering where we are on the daily charts. Show you on the 1 minute chart, here's the breakout area here, and quite often this is a power fade that if you're confident in the breakout, which from everything that was going, there's a lot of evidence that this was going to work. This is a great power fade to look at, and even gave you a second opportunity to get on as well. It kind of came up, pulled back, and allowed the second entry as well. So from there, it pushed a lot higher. The buyers finally had their way, and all the buyers on all the markets they all basically pushed back to their cash market highs, and that's where we finished the day. So it sets up an interesting Wednesday, seeing that these sellers had quite a bit of control, were really pushing down aggressively, but then all of a sudden have quite a decent buyers trend to finish off the day. Means that there's certainly some buyers lurking around, and the sellers aren't going to have it all their way. So we'll make a call and judgment closer to the open of Wednesday. But it certainly makes things interesting. So that's a wrap up, and we'll speak to you guys tomorrow, Wednesday.